what they won't tell you about being a business owner. Kevin Ware, your Action Business Coach. I want to speak to people who are looking to get into business, or maybe even business owners who have only been in business 1, 2, maybe 3 years. And I want to go through what people don't tell you about the realities of business ownership. And hopefully I want you to watch this today and get a good grasp and handle on what it means to be a business owner. So if you are seriously looking at starting your own business and making this a full-time adventure, I want you to listen up, because I'm going to speak some truths to you after 22 years of business coaching of what you can expect as a business owner. So the first thing to expect is it's one of the loneliest things that you can do. Why is that? Because you have to understand is that you're leaving the work world where you had camaraderie. You're going to have people you've worked with. Maybe sometimes it wasn't all that great, but you had something in common. You are now going to go into a world where it's just you. Might be you have some friends that are other business owners, yeah, but most of the time it's going to feel like you're out on an island, and that's okay. But you have to understand that you can't do this all on your own. You can't live on an island. And yes, you can do lots of research and do lots of homework, but eventually you're going to have to partner up. You're going to have to find a way to connect with other business owners like you so you can share stories and go back and forth, because you're going to want to feel that connection with somebody who's going through this just like you are. So number 2 is you have decided to prioritize opportunity over security. Now, what do I mean by that? Think about this. When you were young, did you have any sort of money-making thing that you did? Maybe lemonade stand, mowed yards, did anything of that nature? Virtually every kid can say yes to that. It's almost 100%. What percentage of the population today own their own full-time business? Well, according to the Department of Commerce, it's only about 4%. So what happened between 100% of kids doing entrepreneurial activities and 4% adults owning a business? Well, what happened is when you were a kid, you valued opportunity. You could make extra money. When you became an adult, you valued security, making sure that paycheck was there every day. But here's the whole thing. You truly never lost that desire for opportunity. What's happened with you is you've decided to take action and actually go in and value opportunity over security. In my belief, it's one of the greatest things that you can do for a human being, because now you're going to push through and you're going to make your own dreams. So remember this, you've decided to prioritize opportunity over security, and that's okay. Now, number 3 is going to be related to number 2, is you will have friends and family tell you to quit and give up. This actually happened to me. First 2 years in business wasn't always the easiest. And I had my father-in-law, I was having a conversation with my wife, and his comment to her is, well, when is Kevin going to give up and go back and get a real job? And that hurt, but it also drove me. And you are going to get those comments. You're going to have people tell you, well, why don't you just figure out a way to get back into a job? You're going to hear that. You have to be prepared for those individuals. Now, why are they telling you that? Because they do care for you. They don't want you to go through the suffering that you're probably going to go through as a young business owner. And they're going to basically tell you things that they think you should know. Heck, you know what? My mom would always clip, ads for me for jobs and give them to me. And this is back in the day before the internet really was running the show. And you know what? It's going to happen. So be prepared to have your friends, family members tell you to pull the plug on your business. And you know what? Just be okay with that. There's nothing against you. It's just the way that they're wired to do that. Now, number 4 is how much you think you'll work and how much you will actually work are 2 totally different things. So when you're getting into your business, You've been used to having a 40-hour work week. And your brain goes, yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to work maybe 45, maybe 50 hours a week to get this off the, up and going. And next thing you know, you're working 75 to 80 hours a week. Why? Because starting it up will demand that level of hours. And so one of the things that you're going to look at is, okay, how much realistically am I going to have to sacrifice time-wise to get this business up to speed? You have to have that total understanding that you're going to go into a 100% commitment to get this business off the ground. And you're going to have to make time sacrifices that you probably don't realize you're going to have to make. And again, you have to be okay with that. And the people closest to you are going to have that understanding, and they're going to have to be okay with that. Because if they're not okay with that, it's going to create a mass amount of friction within your family. So keep that in mind. Now, number 5 thing is what they don't tell you about being a business owner is that your first employee will be your biggest learning opportunity. And this is very true. I had my very first employee was somebody who actually worked with me on my JOB job. And when I started my business, I hired her to be my assistant. And I thought, I know her. She was my front desk and secretary for me in my office. I thought, well, we'll just switch her over and she can work for me. Totally different ball game. Now, all of a sudden, she's no longer a fellow employee. She works for me. And I had to learn all of the issues and deal with those things and go and focus in on getting her to be productive and own personal issues that she was dealing with that I never had to deal with that because it was my boss at my old job that had to deal with it. So you're going to have an immense amount of learning with that first employee. Whether it's good or bad, always remember this. Even if your first employee is a complete failure, guess what? It's a great learning opportunity to go, you know what? I made a mistake with this first employee. Next time, I'm not going to make that mistake. So treat it as the learning opportunity that it is. Now, the 6th thing that they won't tell you about being a business owner is you will learn more about yourself in the first 2 to 3 years in business than you ever did in working as a job. You're going to have so many self-revelations on who you are as a person. Why? Because you're going to be under an immense amount of pressure. And pressure brings things out of us that we don't realize that are in us when we're working on a job. You see, when you're in a job, you've got so many other people around you who can cover up your flaws, but they also cover up your own skills. And so you don't know what you can really be and who you deeply are until you get into that business. And the pressure is on you, and you're going to have that ups and downs and oh, this and that. But guess what? That's the real mirror taking a look at you and saying, this is really who you are. And so take a look at who you are through these first 2 to 3 years of business and have an immense amount of learning because it will help you to get better and better and better. And then finally, the 7th thing that nobody's going to tell you about being a business owner is that once you get it going, the freedom is going to be incredible. And I know the first couple, 2, 3, 4 years of a business is going to be a lot of work. But once you get it going, imagine that you decide that you're going to take a full day off in the middle of the work week to go golfing or to go boating. Or you've decided that you're going to go out on a 5-week trip. And you don't have to have any guilt over that because you have people and team running your business for you. So at first it's going to be feeling really weird because your old brain is still going to go back and said, I need to be there. I have to be there every single day. And once you get used to the freedom that a well-operating business gives you, it's scary and it's exciting at the same time. And eventually you're going to love it and you're going to look back on your former self as an employee, and you're going to tell yourself, boy, I went through a lot of crud to get where I am, but I would have never traded it for one day for what I've learned in my life. The freedom is great. The freedom is amazing. Hopefully this gives you an idea of what you can expect as a business owner. And if you're seriously looking at being that business owner, just know that it can be one of the greatest things you ever do in your life. Go out there, make it happen.